We're obviously getting a lot of questions about GDPR. It's current day issue, but actually, most of the questions are about how data is collected and different types of data. And the good news is that what Criteo has been doing for years is exactly within the scope of how GDPR is defined. The good thing about GDPR is that it's actually codifying across European law, modernizing law, making it very clear where some of these things weren't as clear before. Probably the most important piece of it is really understanding how specific types of data work, and what is personal data, what is non-sensitive and sensitive personal data, and how that has to be treated. Personal data is data that can directly identify an individual, and there are two different types of personal data. So there's actually the directly identifying, like a name, last name, phone number, where you can put an actual person against it. And then there's pseudonymous. It's basically you don't know who the person is, but you're able to attach individual behaviors to that person to show them, say, a more relevant ad. Now, Criteo's always dealt only in the pseudonymous side of data, and we've never dealt with actual personal and that sensitive side of directly identifying data. GDPR really does a good job of spelling out the differences between those and really encourages the use of pseudonymous data. So we're right in line with what's already being encouraged by GDPR. Sensitive data is data that even if it's pseudonymous and if it still identifies certain things about a person, it's considered sensitive. So racial or ethnic origin, sexual orientation, political affiliation, religions, things that really you shouldn't need to know for from a personal perspective, and that some might want to know for not the right reasons also. So the data, because of the way Criteo tracks data and the way we collect data, we're not gathering that kind of data. We're keeping it both pseudonymous and non-sensitive in the approach. The basis of pseudonymous data is the non-direct identifying data. So a cookie is not directly identifying, provided it doesn't contain other directly identifying information. Hashed email, so you don't actually know the email, but you can match the email across platforms. The mobile IDs, like the IDFA in the iOS platform for apps. Any of those any identifier that can actually connect the dots to be able to identify an individual without actually knowing who it is and being able to connect to who they are. And that's necessary for serving targeted, relevant advertising so that you can actually put the right products in front of the right people at the right time, but not necessarily know who they are. From a financial perspective, we actually don't see any negative impact on our business from this. Of course, probably the most important thing is our clients have to understand what GDPR is and how it works. What we really want to avoid is knee-jerk reactions to GDPR that avoid doing any advertising as a result of fear of what GDPR is. So education is probably the most important thing, and making sure that people understand that what we're doing has always been within the realm of what GDPR stands for and will continue to be. Pseudonymous data is really what's useful to Criteo, because our goal is to be able to track a shopper or user across platforms. So they leave a retailer, they go to a publisher, to be able to identify that's the same person that was looking at a certain set of products, to be able to show them really relevant products that are related to what they just looked at. That doesn't require knowing their name, that doesn't require knowing anything really about them other than what they were browsing for. The challenge is as people move across platforms, they become harder and harder to track depending on those scenarios. So we use different forms of identity in order to continue to be able to track and show relevant advertising. Again, still not necessary to accomplish that with any personal information. Some of our other ads are purely contextual. So we're showing ads for brands on retailer sites purely as a result of what's being searched for right then. But we still need to be able to track down to purchase to be able to show advertisers that their advertising actually had a result. So, I think that this is all a big balancing act between, protecting individual consumers' information and being able to both serve relevant ads to consumers, but also help publishers make money off the internet. If everything became completely anonymous broadcast advertising again, I think you'd see all the rates for digital media go down, which hurts a lot of things. In fact, it probably hurts the variety of publishers that you'd see online, and therefore you'd start seeing everything come from Facebook and Google and Amazon and a much smaller cadre of publishers and sites. The more that we're able to show relevant ads, and the more that other platforms are able to show relevant ads, the more they can effectively pay for the free internet.